Hey, Rocambasco here, and today I'm gonna see what's the least amount of enemies you can kill in Halo 3. I usually do gaming challenges, and this is kind of a challenge, but it's more of an experiment, because I'm a little scientist, and sometimes you gotta fucking experiment with shit. So let's see, boys. How many enemies can you avoid killing in Halo 3? One thing I should explain is I'm going to do two different counts. One is what's the least amount of enemies you can kill in Halo 3 with skulls on, and the second kill count is with skulls off. So let's just get right into the first mission, Sierra 117. Alright, so you all know how Halo 3 starts off. The Master Chief crash lands in a fireball and fucking explodes on the ground, but he lives, so hey, that's pretty cool. By the way, I don't remember this part ever being in Halo 3, this little look up and down thing. Like, I know it's in the first and second game, but I didn't know that about the third game, so that was a little cool. Anyways, so we run into our first group of enemies, which, you know, obviously you run by them all, so nothing to really say about this whole part. So I run past all those little fucking pussies and get to this part where I could save this dude, but, you know, that's not part of the challenge, man. Sorry, but I can't fucking save you, man. Maybe next time. Alright, so I let him die, and I run by all the Covenant here until I reach the section with the Pelicans. I pretty much just watch as all my teammates die because, you know, the Master Chief has been fighting for a long time, and he's always carrying the fucking soldiers because they're a bunch of pussies and don't know how to help out in a fight. So this time, Master Chief says no, he's not gonna help them kill the Covenant. So we run by them all. Another thing I forgot to mention was I'm playing on easy mode because I know for the other Halo games, when you play on easy, not as many enemies spawn, and I'm not 100% sure if that's true for Halo 3, but I figured if it's true for the other games, then it's probably the same situation with Halo 3. So I'm playing on easy, plus because fuck that, I'm a pussy and I don't want to play on the hardest mode, so fuck that shit. Yeah, so I get through the sniper jackal forest, and you know, it's easy, just run by them all. Alright, so we get to this final sequence of the level, which is pretty much the only important part of the mission, because the rest of it you're just running past all the enemies, so whatever. I save Johnson, and he grabs a needler for some reason. Even though there's carbines and spikers, he chooses the shittiest of the three options, like some fucking dumbass. But yeah, after you save Johnson, you pretty much just have to wait for the Pelican to come and just blow up all the little pathetic fucking grunts and shit. So, you know, it's pretty simple level to get through without killing anyone. Oh, hello, Johnson. The fuck you doing up there? Clearly, Johnson is having an identity crisis because he seems to think he's a pelican flying away. Alright, well, the Pelican comes, and shakalaka boom, we're done with that mission. Killing no enemies in Mission 1, super simple. Mission 2 is Crow's Nest, and it's a little more tricky, but let's see if it's doable. In Mission 2, we arrive at this early 21st century fort, and I get to shake hands with Miranda Strong Independent Woman Keys. And holy shit, I could feel the independence when I was shaking that hand. Oh, so strong. But then she automatically becomes uncool because she's just trying way too hard at this point.
Ma'am, squad leaders are requesting a rally point. Where should they go?
To war.
Come on, man. So from here until the hangar, I ran past everyone because you don't need to kill everyone, and I needed to show them how much of a pussy I really was. So I run by them all, and once I'm in the hangar, then this is kind of a problem because you have to kill all the enemies here to proceed with the level. But lucky enough for me, I have my Marines to help out, so I pretty much just distracted the enemies and drew their fire while my teammates shot them until they were fucking corpses. So, you know, this whole section was actually not too bad. The brutes weren't as tender as the grunts and jackals, but man always comes out on top. One of the Marines even had the balls to punch a brute, like, holy fuck, man. If you can punch a brute, then there's no fight that they can't win. So eventually, they killed them all, they escaped on the Pelican, and I made my way to this door, which, is full of drones, and again, the same thing, the Marines just killed them all. And the drones were acting very weird. They're kind of just standing in place on the wall and standing on top of each other, which I found was pretty weird, but anyways, I got past that, and this is pretty much the main important room of the mission. So I'm not exactly sure how this door opens. I think you have to kill a certain number of enemies, or maybe you have to kill the brute chieftain. I'm not exactly sure, but after waiting here for like, I don't know, 2 or couple minutes, I hit a loading zone, and the brute chieftain just died, or despawned or something, I'm not quite sure, but the only thing that remained of him was his flare. So I snagged it up, and the rest of the mission is pretty simple to get through. Right now would be a good time to explain that for this challenge experiment thing, it's okay for my allies to kill the enemies for me, like my Marine soldiers and the Arbiter, because as long as I'm not damaging the enemies in any way through melee or shooting them or grenades or running them over with vehicles or finger blasting them in the asshole, then it's totally okay for my allies to kill them, because I'm not physically harming them in any way or killing them, so it's all good. So you people who are like, oh, well, shut up, fuck off, I'm not killing them, so it's all good. And that includes my teammates are allowed to be in vehicles with me. Even though it counts towards my kill count, I'm not killing them. So yeah, there's that whole thing out of the way. So the Arbiter kills all the brutes here, and I just run past everyone for the rest of the mission. There's no one else that gets in the way. I just arm the bomb, hop on the elevator, and crash, landing right into hell. Mission 3 is the first driving mission, and you pretty much just have to get from point A to B. So you don't really have to focus on killing enemies. I just took a vehicle and drove past everyone. Has anyone seen that movie Baby Driver, where that like pussy is really good at driving? Well, my driving skills are like his, but 1,000 times better. He wishes he can drive like me, because look at this shit, fucking dodging shit like it's nothing. I'm a goddamn pro at this. But anyways, I destroyed that shield barrier, drove on the highway, and used the grav lift thing to get my Warthog over the bridge, because it's gonna take a lot more than a bitch-ass broken bridge to stop my vroom vroom from vrooming on. I drive my Warthog to the second barrier, and this is where the challenge was like, oh fuck, for a couple minutes, because you have to kill this grunt in the plasma turret thing, and obviously, if I kill him, that's gonna spoil, well, not spoil the experiment, but I'm not gonna be satisfied with having to kill an enemy this early. So I thought for a couple minutes, I was like, how can I kill this piece of shit? And then it struck me, what if I stand in front of him while the brutes try to kill me, and then he takes the friendly fire and fucking dies? So for the next couple of minutes, I strafed left and right using the grunt as body armor, and sometimes I would have to retreat back into the hut like a little bitch to regenerate my shields. But you know what? In no time, the fucking grunt died. And I beat the mission with 0 kills. So far that's 3 missions where I haven't killed a single enemy. You know what? It's looking good so far. Mission 4 is where I encounter my biggest problem yet, because I have to take out some wraiths, and I need to kill a scarab, and you know what, it's painful to say the least. So to start the mission, you open a couple doors, your teammates drive through, the grunts are like, oh no, fucking we're gonna die, and they die, because how are you supposed to stop a fucking chain gun? So they all die, we get through some doors and enter this big section where there's the anti-air wraiths and the normal wraiths and a bunch of ghosts, just a big fuck fest. But this problem was very easy to solve because the brutes focus on the Master Chief and try to shoot him and kill him, even though he's a pacifist. So while they're trying to kill me, my teammates are driving around having a jolly good time, And the brutes are just too darn stupid to acknowledge this fact, so both the Wraith tanks die, and then we're into the Scarab section, which isn't good for the experiment. Not in the slightest. So I'm just walking around, having fun and waiting for my men to kill all the enemies here, and then a Scarab comes, and I just know that shit is about to be fucked. I'm just gonna say it right now. You have to kill the Scarab. Fucking hell, man. I tried for about an hour to get the brutes to destroy the Scarab in the same way that I got the brutes to kill the Grunt, by standing in front of it and moving, left and right. But all they can do is take down the shield, break that first, brace thing, but they can't actually finish off the Scarab. So after a long ass time, I had to throw in the towel and kill the Scarab myself, because the brutes shot it with hundreds of spiker rounds, but for me, the player, it only takes 4 to 10 spiker shots to destroy the Scarab. So that's pretty much the game's way of saying that, hey, Master Chief the Pacifist is the only one who can kill the Scarab. So I had no choice but to destroy it. That's the first enemy I've had to kill, and I'm on the 4th mission, so that's not too bad. Well, after you kill the Scarab, there isn't really much to be said about the rest of the mission. You pretty much just run by a lot of people, like the hunters, well, aliens I should say. You run by the hunters, the brute chieftain, all the brutes, grunts, blah blah blah, everyone, until you reach the end and you have to destroy the AA gun turret, anti-air gun turret. I killed the turret, and this doesn't count as an enemy because it's not an enemy, it's a fucking turret. So, yeah, I destroy it and the mission ends. Truth escapes through the portal, but now there's a flood ship, so we have to take that on now. And yeah, that's the start of mission 5 right there. There's no major objectives in mission 5 except to kill all the flood forms, and then to find the crashed ship with Cortana on it. So those are the 2 objectives for the mission. And Floodgate is the shortest mission in any Halo game ever. It's 3 minutes to beat or something. I think I beat it in 9 minutes. It's extremely short. You just have to run by literal every group of Covenant, Flood, while they're busy killing your friends and shit. So I ran past all the Flood until I reached the ship, and I dropped in, made my way through it. We find Cortana's message, we repair it, we listen to it. She's like, oh hey, there's a way to kill the Flood if you go through that portal. Hell yeah, epic, go through it now. And so we all gear up and get ready to fucking go through and kill Truth and find the solution. It's fucking badass as shit, hell yeah. So we go through, and the mission ends. Mission 6 is very full of concerning encounters. From here until I reach the mongooses, it's very easy to just run past all the enemies. I take the mongoose, and the Covenant turned me into a Beyblade. So now that's 2 things I've transformed into today. A bitch and a Beyblade. Pretty cool. I got pretty lucky here because there's 2 soldiers here, and a warthog that's fully functional. So I flip it for my 2 marines to use, and then in the next section, I just did the same thing with every wraith that I did in mission 4. I just distracted them, and my men took them out, which went a lot better than I thought it would, but you know what? Luck is on my side. I'm an optimistic man, and I believe that this experiment will turn out pretty well. Alright, so they're all dead. I almost get fucking killed by the Dawn, even though I just saved them, so, fuck you, Commander Keyes, you independent bitch. My teammates give me a choice and say, hey, you can choose any one of these vehicles, tank or warthog or whatever, so I say fuck you, and I leave them all in my mongoose. There's another whole section with enemies, but your men easily kill them all, so we kill them all. Guilty Spark opens the door, I get through the facility, and here comes the Scarab tank, which is another fail, because obviously if I couldn't kill the Scarab in mission 4, then I can't kill the Scarab in mission 6. I took down the Scarab, hopped on it, and had to destroy it with my guns, so That's the second enemy so far that I've had to kill in Halo 3. And we're on the 6th mission, so 6th mission, only 2 enemies killed. Hey, I'm not complaining. After I kill the Scarab, my men and I move into this facility, and it's jam-packed with Covenant. So we get through the facility, I complete the objectives that I need to complete, and then we come to the last fight of the mission. I need to kill this whole pack of brutes, which includes a brute chieftain, a bunch of miners, and the invisible brutes have followed me from the last section, and then I have to kill some jackals as well. So it's quite a number of enemies. So this looks like it's gonna be a big fail, but hang on, I have a plan for everything in the world. It's very easy to take out the brute chieftain because he's so focused on trying to kill you that if you stand at the edge of the cliff, he kills himself when you jump out of the way. So that's taken care of. But now what about the other 10 million brutes I have to kill? Well, my men have followed me down here, and because they're badass as fuck, they killed all of the brutes, all of the jackals, like they killed everything while I just stood around and watched. And I gave them a sniper rifle too, so that helped them out, but yeah, they killed everyone. On easy mode, the Marines are badass as fuck. Like, they have 10 million health points, so it's pretty hard to kill them, unless they get run over by a ghost or some shit. That is the 6th mission with only 2 kills. Mission 7 is the trickiest level in Halo 3 to avoid killing enemies in. To start off, it's very easy to avoid all these enemies on the beach. You can just run past them all until you hit this loading zone, and then I backtracked to grab a vehicle because I'm gonna need some Marines for the next section. We quickly made our way into the tower, and after my men killed all the Covenant, it was time to ride the elevator. I think everyone and their mother has tried to bring Marines up the elevators in this level, but you all know it's extremely hard. Even if you try to box them in with the crates, they always jump over the crates or walk around them. I tried a couple times to box them in, but obviously it didn't work. But I noticed that if you give a Marine a Spartan laser, they kind of just stand in place for a couple of seconds to admire the weapon, I guess. So I had the brilliant idea that if I pushed him while at the same time switching weapons with him, then maybe he would stand still long enough on the elevator for me to bring him up with me. It took me a couple of tries, but eventually I frickin' did it, man. We're bringing a Marine with us into the first barrier tower. We go up the tower, and one by one he fucking destroys the brutes and effortlessly kills the brute chieftain. You know what? I'm fucking proud of this. This seems like such a simple thing, but goddamn, I'm fucking proud. And then he kills 2 brutes with 1 shot. Like, that's fucking impressive, my guy. I press the button, and now we have to get to the next barrier tower. On the way there, I made sure to grab a fuel rod gun because it would come in handy for the next trick. We get to the Hornets, I arm my men, and we ignore all the enemies except for these 2 anti-air wraiths, so the Arbiter and his buddies can land safely. After my allies killed all the enemies, I knocked out the Arbiter so he could take the fuel rod gun, because it's a lot more powerful and badass than his current plasma rifle. The elites kill all the enemies in this tower, and for the next trick, I needed a needler, and you don't need a deployable shield, but I tossed it down just so it could kind of like catch him, just in case he went too far. But basically, you shoot him until the super combine goes off, and then he blasts away, landing right onto the elevator, and he's knocked out for enough time for the elevator to get up without him being able to walk off. Sometimes you'll have to knock him out another time because he'll sometimes choose to use his carbine instead of the fuel rod gun. So just keep doing that until he equips the fuel rod gun. But yeah, the Arbiter kills all 5 of the brutes, and including the last tower, that's 10 enemies that we avoided killing by doing this trick of bringing the allies with us. So, you know, that's pretty cool. I hit the switch, and then the flood crashes the party. So I get the fuck out of there, I grab a mongoose, and then I ignore all the enemies from here until the hornets. And now I have to kill 2 scarabs, and I think it's pretty obvious what happened here once again, because obviously you can't avoid killing the scarabs. So I quickly killed them both, and then we head inside the structure. And now we're in the last sequence of the mission. It's very simple to avoid killing enemies here, because as usual, you just have to run by them all. We team up with the Flood, the strong independent woman dies. We quickly make our way across the bridge, avoiding all the enemies, until I deactivate the ring. The Gravemind betrays us because he's a fucking cunt, so we make our way across the bridge, dodging the enemies once again, and then we drop into a hole, concluding the 7th mission. Mission 8 is another mission that's extremely short. It takes only 9 minutes to beat, and you don't have to kill any enemies in this level to get past anything. You just have to make your way through this maze of a level, retrieve Cortana, destroy the reactors or whatever the fuck these things are, say hi to Keith David, jump in the Pelican, and leave High Charity. Alright, the final mission of Halo 3. We crash land in the snow, and then we have to make our way to the top of the structure. I run by all the Flood until we reach the top of the structure, and then I jump up here with Johnson and wait for Johnson and the Arbiter to kill all the Flood. Once all the Flood forms are dead, we make our way into the facility, and this is where we find Guilty Spark, chillin' in the millin'. Whatever the fuck that means, but goddamn it rhymes, man, so of course I'm gonna say it. 343 Guilty Spark kills Johnson because he's racist, and now I have to put down the racist robot. There's no way that you can avoid the Guilty Spark fight, so I had to kill him. From here until the end of the game, it's pretty much just the Warthog run. I took the mongoose and left the Arbiter behind so he could die. He's been a big help to me, but he's still an alien, and I fucking hate aliens. As long as you're careful, it's extremely easy not to hit any enemies on the Warthog run. Unless of course you're fucking trash at this game. I got through it on my first attempt, so if I can do it, anyone can do it. I made it into the Dawn's hangar, and that's pretty much the end of the game. So what's the least amount of enemies you can kill in Halo 3? I thought having skulls on or off would actually matter, but it turns out in the end, it actually doesn't. So the least amount of enemies you need to kill in Halo 3 as the player is 5 enemies. The Scarab in Mission 4, the Scarab in Mission 6, the 2 Scarabs in the 7th mission, and Guilty Spark in the last mission. Well, feel free to subscribe, to leave a comment, and to leave a like, and I'll see you all in the next one.